This is a long, long stretch of road, and I'm taking in the sights, but there's these drivers on my bumper, honking horns and flashing lights. But the morning sky is red, and I know just what you're thinking, even though you haven't said. But I promised you I'd keep it at 100. This song, Keep It at 100, was a song that, well, I needed an up-tempo song for a record I was recording at the time. And I was on my way to Halifax to play a gig, and I was taking Vern's rig. And I'm known to sometimes be in a rush. So the morning I was leaving, he said to me, you know, you don't need to be in a hurry. This is an older car. It's got a lot of miles on it. Can you just try and take your time? And I said, okay, Vern, I promise I'll keep it at 100. And he said, okay. And so I left and I wrote this song on the way to Halifax. Keeping my eye on the prize, not getting me anywhere. Keeping my eye on the prize, not getting me Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, Vern has a number of great hobbies. I guess I would have to say his favorite is his truck, and probably his second favorite would be his tractor. And I'll let him explain about that.
Well, I'm Vern McDougall. I'll be Lisa Cameron's husband. and talking about important things in our lives. Number 1 was getting to marry Lisa. Number 2, we got to have our 2 wonderful kids. Number 3, special day, was the day I got my old tractor.
Yeah, Vern and I work very closely together. In my real life, I am a teacher, and I teach at Bayview Education Center in Port Hood. I teach grade 4, and I like playing music for students and having them perform as well at Christmas concerts and things like that. It's great fun practicing for those through our music program at Bayview. We're pretty low-key here. Our work schedule kind of dominates our lives through September to June, and then in the summertime we try and squeeze as much enjoyment as we can out of Cape Breton and the ocean and all the kinds of activities that we like to do. One of the reasons I love living in the small community of Judique is why some people don't like living in a small community. And that is because everybody knows me. Everybody knows my business, sometimes even before I know, other people know. I love that. So for example, this is Wayne's Variety, our little store in Judique. And Marie, who's worked here for the longest time since I can remember, she knows what's going on in my house by what I buy. And she'll tell me. So one morning before school, I went in and I bought apple juice and crackers. And she said, "Oh, are the boys sick?" And I said, "Yes, the boys are sick." I went in early June and I bought a bunch of junk food, chips and chocolate bars. And she said, "You are working on your report cards." I said, "Yes, I am working on my report cards." Then I went in a couple of weeks later and I bought a big bottle of red wine. And she said, "Oh, you finished your report cards." So one evening I was feeling especially grateful for where I live, and I wrote this song. I have friends to tell my troubles to, years to write them down. Family's not so far away, they can't just come around. I don't have a single gray hair upon my head, although I'm 40-some. I'm the lucky one. The people are so rich around here, and I don't mean wealth, I mean in character and experience and just in life. And everybody has a story to tell. It's amazing. They don't think they do, but I could be sitting on the beach and someone would come along and tell me this great story about why they're at the beach that day, or just like I said, the characters around that. There's so much kindness and so much genuineness about people that it's very inspirational, even if sometimes I don't realize it until a little while later, and I know most of the time they don't realize it. And it's before the sun. I'm the lucky one. I grew up in Margaree Forks, which is kind of close to the Highlands, I guess, in Cape Breton. I lived there. We had a very musical household at home, and I lived there until I turned 18, went to university in Halifax, and traveled quite a bit around Canada and lived in some different places in Canada, and went to some different schools until I settled back here in Nova Scotia. I met Vern actually at a wedding of ours, a wedding of friends of ours, and we started dating shortly after that. We were at this before party for the wedding, and Vern was playing the guitar, and he was playing some songs that I was familiar with. He was from here in Judique, so that's kind of how we ended up together. He was living in Halifax at the time, and I was kind of back and forth from Cape Breton to Halifax at the time, so that's how we met. I don't have a single gray hair upon my head, although I'm 40-some. It's one more battle won. I what makes Cape Breton the home of my heart is the people, but it's even more than that. It's this feeling of safety. I've lived in a whole bunch of other places where I didn't know anyone, and living in Cape Breton, it's almost like you're part of one big family, and there's never a time when you don't feel like you could go somewhere if you were in need, or if you had something special to tell someone or something to celebrate. There's always someone there, and that, and I think the culture, the strong history of the people here. I think that's what makes it the home of my heart. We get down to the water as much as we can. Our summers are spent on the beach, and then there's such beautiful trails here in Judique and in Inverness County, and a lot of them run right alongside the water, and you're just a few steps from the beach. So we try and get out and spend as much time as we can down there. Thank you so much for listening and watching this feature about my music. I hope that you enjoyed the music and the stories, and that perhaps they can help you make a connection to Cape Breton and feel like we do about this place.